If you're like me, you probably know that finding inspiration can be something that's a very difficult task at times, and it seems like no matter how hard you try, you can't really muster it out of yourself. I think for a long time I went through periods where I just couldn't find inspiration at all, no matter how much I wanted to do something or like had certain ideas in my head. I feel like even then, sometimes it can be a struggle. You know, that feeling like having the desire to create something or make something, but not knowing exactly what, which I think is a weird feeling, especially when in the past it might have felt like you had like a bunch of ideas flowing to you and it all came very, very easy. Inspiration and, motivation can be half the battle when it comes to creating anything. But for me, one of the things recently that's, helped me a lot that I've realized is just like surrounding yourself with as much inspiration as possible and filling your day with as much inspiration as possible. Like, for example, I used to sometimes feel like I've wasted a lot of money on stuff that kind of just sits on my shelf, like manga, books, like figures, video games, you name it, like anything physical, CDs, But recently I've just kind of had moments where I just doze off and stare at the things in my room, all the things that are kind of decorating the space around me, almost like I'm slipping into like this meditative state where I'm just appreciating all the things around me without, trying to force anything or being in a spot where I'm trying to force ideas. I'm just kind of, sitting and observing. And it just feels good, to just appreciate the moment, to take a pause. And it's funny because like the whole reason I got a lot of these things in the first place was for the sake of inspiring me so that I can, flip through them and use them and stuff like that. But I've, over the years, you kind of just don't, they just sit on the shelf and you kind of forget about them, even though they're around you 24/7 constantly. So lately I've been very deliberate and intentional about just actually flipping through, all my books, playing my CDs, reading all the manuals and the games that I have just for no reason, just kind of vibe. I think especially like at the beginning of the day, it's really fun to just put on one of my favorite CDs and just read or flip through a photography or art book or any sort of manga that I have. And it sounds kind of stupid and obvious, but like I never really realized that if I don't actually deliberately seek out inspiration, that it probably just won't come. Like, yeah, it's great to, make things, but if you're constantly just making or trying, you're not leaving room for inspiration, for things to come in and inspire you. It's just as important to take a step back and rest and just, consume things, like take things in, especially particularly things that might inspire you. But the part that I think is really important is just doing it for its own sake and not doing it because you're trying to find inspiration, just like doing it because it feels good, because it's nice to just take a step back and observe. And I know at least on like social media, the word consume has a very negative connotation, but life is, like cycles, you can't just always be doing one thing. It's almost like breathing, if I could compare like creativity to breathing, you can't always be in creating mode. You can't always be, exhaling. You have to inhale too. Some people might be able to spend longer times exhaling. Some people might need more time inhaling before they can exhale, if that makes sense. And so I think it's important to actually take that, inhaling period a little seriously, not, too serious, but like allow yourself time to just relax and take things in, because otherwise you're just going to burn yourself out if you're always trying to be in go mode, trying to create and do things all the time. Eventually you're going to need to stop exhaling and then inhale. And so like as much as you can to the best of your ability, I think it's really good and really important even to fill your day with as much inspiration as you can, like blast your favorite music when you wake up, or watch the movies you've had on your backlog for 10 bajillion years, or flip through those books that have just been sitting on your shelf again. Just, take time to inhale, to just seek inspiration. And like one of the things I've learned from this that's really helped me is like when you're, just consuming things, you're reading a book or watching a movie, you're in a very relaxed state. You're not forcing anything because you're not actually really doing anything yourself. You're kind of observing. The only exception is, maybe video games, but even then I would include that. And if you apply that same logic to when you're actually creating or doing things, where you're sort of a passenger just observing, for me, it's made things a lot easier to where I'm not entirely focused on the end result when I'm making things. It's more so I'm doing it because it feels good in the moment. The same way, watching a movie or reading a book or listening to music feels good in the moment. When you're listening to a song, you're not rushing to get to the end of the song. You're just appreciating it and enjoying it while it's going on. And if you can take that same mentality when you're actually doing the things that you say that you want to do but have been struggling to do, just kind of take a step back, when you're drawing or making music or recording something or working on something, just do your best to be in the moment, observing yourself doing that thing instead of focusing on the future or on the past, on the end goal or what you wish you could have done better. There's always time for that too, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just as important to be present with it, because when you're focused on the moment, you're releasing the resistance that might be holding you back. You're just letting things flow in the moment. And so I know, again, the word consuming has a bit of a negative connotation these days, but I think there's a lot to learn from that place of consuming things, because doing anything is a bit of both. Again, it's breathing in and out, in and out, in and out. While you're doing something, you're also observing yourself doing it, and you can be either very present with that or you can be not so present, very anxious about it. And I think the more you just let yourself flow and be present with it, the easier it is. And honestly, the more enjoyable it is too. There's almost something like very spiritual and meaningful about having, all the things you really like and appreciate all around you in a room. I've always thought if somebody just walked into my room, they could tell a lot about me just by all the things that I have crammed into here, like from my instruments to my computer to all my books to my magazines and CDs and all the little junk as well. It's almost like all these things around you really tell a story about you. It's not the whole story, of course, but it's a little window into who you are in your life. And I think there's something I really enjoy about that. And even though, individually they're all just things, when they all come together, they have so much more meaning. It's like a collage that tells a bigger picture. And so when you take the time to just appreciate all the things that you've, acquired and collected, it's almost like reminding yourself, who you are and what inspires you and the things that lit a fire in you and made you want to do the things that you have set out to do before or want to try again or maybe haven't done before. At the end of the day, the only reason we make any decision that we do, and this goes for quite literally every decision that you make from birth to death, the only reason you do anything in life is to feel good. Whether you're doing it in a clear way or in a roundabout way, every action you take is to feel good or to feel better than you're feeling. So I think there's a lot of wisdom in just doing things for the sake that they feel good, that they make you feel more alive or more connected to yourself. And I guess the moral that I'm trying to, the point of the story I'm trying to get to here is that if you're having a hard time finding inspiration or motivation, sometimes you just need to be more deliberate about looking for it and seeking it out, and just not in a very serious way, but literally do the things you enjoy because they feel good every day, in every moment, as much as you possibly can. Every day, try to have the best day you possibly can, fill it with all the things you enjoy to the best of your ability. All the music you love, movies, games, going out to a place you enjoy, going for a walk, wearing the clothes you really love, everything that inspires you, everything that you have the ability, to act on right in front of you. You should just do those things, not for any other reason than that it makes you feel good. And if you do that the best you can every day, I'm sure you'll start to see a difference and hopefully start to see more inspiration and, color in your life. And if nothing else, at least hopefully you'll have a good time. Thank you for listening to my yapping sesh. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Until next time, peace.